one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Batkins?
Here.
Mr. Brado?
Here.
Mr. Olgiati?
Here.
Mrs. Rose?
Here.
Mr. Tominello?
Here.
Mr. Witt here, Mr. Burkowski?
Here, thank you. Next is approval of the consent agenda, including approval of the regular board meeting minutes of September 25th, 2023, approval of the bills in the amount of $1,122,239.55, the quarterly treasurer's report for quarter 2 of 2023, and the Smart Fiscal Year 2024 Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contract. Unless there are any changes, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
All right, is there support?
Support.
Got a motion by Mr. Badkins with support by Mr. Brado. Discussion, board members. Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Next is the approval of the regular agenda. Board members, I am not aware of any revisions to the agenda. If there are none, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
All right, is there support? Support. Got a motion by Mrs. Rose with support by Mr. Olgiati. Any discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is announcements. I do have a few announcements. I will be giving the annual State of the Township address this Friday, October 13th at County Golf Club. The event starts at noon. Registration is through the Macomb County Chamber. The Township Parks and Recreation Committee is excited to host their annual free event, Hollowpalooza, this Saturday, October 14th, from noon to 2 p.m. at Tucker Park on Ballard Street. To register for this free event, please see the Township website. Our Harrison Township firefighters will be hosting an open house on Saturday, October 21st, from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at Fire Station 2. That's the station located on Jefferson. Everyone is welcome. Please find all of the information on our Township website. On Saturday, October 28th, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., the Township will be hosting an open house and ribbon cutting for our Sheriff Substation at 30360 South River Road, just east of Jefferson. For more information, you can also find that on our website. Don't forget to check out our amazing Harrison Township Library. There are so many great events taking place. There's always something for everyone. For example, this Thursday, October 12th, they will be having Tales with Tales, where you can read to a furry friend. Make sure you check out their library and their website for all of their events, www.htlibrary.org. And for information on these, as well as all other township events, you can call the supervisor's office, 586-466-1445. Visit our website, www.harrisontownshipmi.gov, or follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Harrison TWPMI. Any other announcements? Hearing none, we'll move forward on the agenda to item D1 from the Fire Department. All right, board members, we did have some promotions within the fire department. It is per the contract, but the chief had not put those on the agenda, so I said, hey, after the fact, I'd like the minutes to reflect that. So we are seeking post approval of the following promotions per the collective bargaining agreement. Sergeant Zarnicki promoted to lieutenant, firefighter Roberts promoted to sergeant, Sergeant Evans promoted to lieutenant, and firefighter Belinsky promoted to sergeant. So we'll be looking for a motion to approve those promotions.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it if we just want to add that the effective date for Lieutenant Sarnicki and for Sergeant Roberts is June 23rd, and for Lieutenant Evans and Sergeant Belinsky is September 11th.
Is that okay?
Mr.?
Yep.
All right. So we've got a motion by Mr. Badkins with support by Mr. Witt. Any discussion?
Just trying to understand, I've got 4 promotions, that's pretty amazing. is this based on seniority? Like, at a certain point, does it automatically just flip, or have they done something to earn this? Like, how does that work in the fire department?
Sure. So, in the event of a retirement, so we staff with 3 battalion chiefs, 3 lieutenants, 3 sergeants.
Okay.
So we do have an eligibility list. So for example, amongst our current firefighters, a pool of 18, you know, depending on their years of experience, they're at varying levels of preparation. Some firefighters may choose not to promote to an officer level, but amongst some of those that do, they take additional education. We have a officer training program, and then if all other things are equal in terms of their qualifications, seniority rules. So there really isn't a decision to say, well, should we promote firefighter Smith or firefighter Jones? There is an established list through
Yeah,
civil service.
you clear 5 standards, it's the highest seniority person.
Right. There is a probationary period, so the promotion isn't automatic and final, but it is somewhat mechanical. And when these were both based on 2 retirements earlier this year, both lieutenants. So, any other discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Let's see. All right. Next on the agenda, item D2, I skipped one here, sorry. We are requesting permission to begin the hiring process for the next firefighter candidate that passes the oral board interview. We do have a candidate that did in fact pass the oral board interview just Friday, so that wasn't known at the time. But we have an individual by the name of Maxwell Harcourt. And the offer of employment is contingent upon board approval, as well as passing a background investigation, a psychological evaluation, and a medical physical examination. This hire would place the fire department at +1, so 28 total firefighters. But we do have 2 anticipated retirements, so kind of want to be ahead of the game. And also, there are a number of departments in the Metro Detroit area that are short firefighters. And so we kind of like to think that it's a good idea to make sure we're ahead so that if there is a retirement, we're still fully staffed. And the reality is, even once we offer that hire, there's still time for that person to be onboarded. And then there's approximately a month, if I'm not mistaken, before they even count towards staffing, so that they get up to speed with our procedures.
Make a motion to hire Maxwell Harcourt, pending successful completion of a background investigation, psychological evaluation, medical, physical exam, and completion of probation.
All right, is there support?
Support.
Got a motion by Mr. Witt, support by Mr. Brado. So I think this is a proactive move. I think it's a good thing, and I think we're moving forward.
There are fire departments that are doing national searches to fill their holes, and the chief has gone over and above to make sure we're not in that same situation. So it's a good place to be.
And repeatedly, we've heard that the culture in our department is a recruiting factor, so.
Yeah, the firefighters are the ones doing a lot of the recruiting too, so.
Absolutely. Any other discussion?
Did this candidate have other experience, or is this his first firefighter position?
No, actually, this candidate was recently employed at a neighboring department within the Macomb County region, and just thought that maybe Harrison Township might be a better fit.
Even better.
Yeah, so someone who's got a little experience. Any other discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next on our agenda is item E1 from the Treasurer's Office.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. What I want to bring to the board tonight is our battery backup. Batteries are actually close to end of life. I've been working with Jason. They're still operative at this time, but I did want to bring it forward. The cost of the batteries are $34.12. That's something we do approximately every 2 years, or when the batteries register end of life. So this is just a technicality, make sure that I get board approval to spend the money to replace the battery backup system in order to keep our infrastructure running in the event of a power outage.
Make a motion to approve the purchase of the 4 battery backup units to replace the 4 failing battery backup units to maintain the township's infrastructure.
Got a motion by Mr. Witt. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Olgiati. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Board. Next on our agenda is item F regarding public comments. So we'll open the floor for public comments. They can be about any subject you wish. We ask that you try to limit those to 5 minutes in length.
Good evening. My name is Ramona Romero, and I live on Huron Point. At our last meeting, I got information from my neighbor that he had been in to see you, Mr. Burkest. Thank you. I knew it. But anyway, when he did call me after talking to you, he told me that you had told him that the Beautification Commission had decided on going forward with the memorial. And that wasn't what I had said at the meeting. I had read the exact notes to you. And I told you where you could find them. I did make copies for all of you. So if you don't mind, I'll give each of you a copy of that. So that can stay home and read again. So then I have it marked as to vote. And who was there voting?
Thanks. You can just hand it to me, Ramona, and I'll pass it down to everyone if you want to get back to your comments.
It was a 10 out of 12 vote that we voted against it due to the location. As of last meeting, there were quite a few more people here. It's obvious that more people are hearing about it and a lot more are concerned about it. We talk frequently to people and they agree with us. We are on Facebook and the reactions from Facebook are about 99% people do not want a monument for anybody else at that site. Barbara Reardon, who is one of our beautification commissioners, her husband died this past year, and he was buried at Arlington National Park. There are other monuments at Arlington National Park. Kennedy has one, the unnamed veteran, they have one for him, and Arlington House, and there are many more. But none of them are placed in the location where all the veterans are buried. In that area, every veteran has the exact same stone and nothing different. They are not put in different classifications, generals here, anything. They are all there in line, same stone, just their history on their stone. That's how it should be at our memorial. On our memorial, everybody's name should be there equally, not one monument for one specific man. That special monument should be somewhere else, just like it is at Arlington, like it is at Holly, and every other memorial. At the last meeting, I had commented that I was concerned about this hurting Mrs. Odell, and I am still concerned about that. When she first heard about what we were going to be doing, of course, Mrs. Zinner went over and explained to her that we weren't against her husband. We just wanted his memorial elsewhere. And she understood that, and she put on Facebook, "I don't care if the board honors him or not. Please be respectful to my late husband, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Odell. That is all I ask. Thank you, and no, he is not more important than the veteran." After several letters, remarks coming to her through Facebook, and they can be very hurtful for her. One person wrote, "Agreed, it is an insult to the other veterans. If they even think about touching it, it's kind of saying that the other veterans are just not that important anymore. So let's get rid of this monument." I mean, that's the things they're saying to her. I do understand your concern about the matters, but most of all, the township officials are not here or are blocked as they are, oh, I'm sorry, that's one. I have a family member honored on the memorial. Why in hell do they want to change it? No, flat out, no. Where's the petition? Please do not change this memorial. All veterans should be treated no different than the other. She's hearing these, and it's hurting her. And you know what her last remark was? And I don't usually talk like this, but she said she doesn't give a shit about this memorial. That is how hurt she is. You think Lieutenant Colonel Odell would want his wife to be treated this way? I am fighting for every veteran on the wall. All you have to do is honor him anywhere in the township. But we're hurting this lady and probably the rest of the family. I think we should stop and think about that. It's not that we don't want him honored, but we're putting him above the other veterans. And I'm not being mean when I'm putting things on here. Everything I say on here is very respectful of her husband and her family, but everybody else isn't. So I think we ought to take another look at it and see if maybe there'd be a better place. See where she might like it to be. You think she's going to be happy when they have a monument set up for him and she's there to be honored at this? When everybody was talked to her like this and she knows how so many people don't want it there? I think I would feel bad if it was me. And not only that, but her husband would be so unhappy that she is being treated this way. I'm sure he's all for the veterans being honored, but I don't think he would want his wife to be mistreated this way. Are any of you members of the board veterans? Any of you? None? And yet you can talk for veterans. And we have veterans coming in and talking how they feel. And the families of these veterans are online and coming in and telling you how they feel. They want that monument to remain a monument for every single veteran. Nobody special, no labels as to what class they are. They want it to remain the way it's been for the last 30 years. And let's honor Colonel Odell. I'm all for that. Let's put him in a very nice place where everybody can honor him. But don't dishonor the other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bernie Pavoni. I've been for 42 years, Harrison Township resident. Now I'm in New Baltimore. But I still represent the military as my name is on the monument as well. We're all veterans and we all respect each other. We're not just veterans, we are brothers. We're military brothers. We stand by each other. I don't care if you're a colonel or a general or an enlistee, we're all military people. And that's the purpose that we do. We serve our country, we serve our flag. We stand by for what we believe as we take the oath, as you have taken the oath of office, so do we. Take an oath as a military person. Ramona, I concur with you, what you've done, facilitating this situation about the statue. No disrespect for anyone. Thank you for what you're doing for all the military, not just me, for all of us. No disrespect for anyone as a military person. Edgar Odell deserves his honor as everyone else does. And hopefully they'll find a better place for him other than putting him with the rest of the veterans above all the rest. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
C. William Bardell, 27-year resident. Clean cut, do-gooder, boy next door. Clean up, fix up, people helping people. Want to really quick remind everyone, check out Save Lake St. Clair Facebook. Follow, stay up to date on everything that's going on, and everybody stay safe and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other public comment, we'll close the floor for public comment and move back to board comment, because the resident who did speak specifically named a meeting that apparently I was a part of. I must tell you, I don't know who your neighbor is, so I can't tell you who the person is that purportedly met with me. I meet with a lot of folks. I'm definitely aware that the Beautification Commission was not in favor of it, because shortly after that vote occurred, Mrs. Keene, the chairperson, shared that with me. I would not tell someone that Planning or Beautification Commission was in support of it, because I'm certainly aware of that. I disagree with several statements you made, one of which is being respectful. I see some folks, as a part of your family, being disrespectful. I think someone shared a post with me where your daughter said, "Shame on you," to Mrs. Odell. I think that's really disrespectful. Nobody up here is being disrespectful, but I am being called a liar, which is not true. 99% of the people do not want it there. That's a complete and blatant lie. I'm sorry, ma'am. There are a number of people who are in support of it, and there are a number of people who are opposed to it. This board has taken no action since the initial suggestion. Why? Because we're looking at all the options. But while we're looking at all of our options and meeting with folks from your group, people in your group are saying very disrespectful things and stirring the pot and submitting things and saying blatant lies. So I don't know where the disrespect is here, but I don't know what I've done to be disrespectful to the folks in your camp. But I can tell you, I can document for you lies and disrespect on your side. This board has not taken any action since you've come forward and voiced your concerns. I've met with you several times. I've proposed compromises, but nobody up here is being disrespectful. But I am seeing some disrespect on your side. Not maybe you specifically, but I'm seeing some distortions, and I'm seeing this really taken way out of context. We all agree it is a worthwhile effort to honor this individual. We've proposed multiple options on how we might be able to do that. But all I'm hearing is a lot of lies and distortion. Things that I didn't say, things that are or are not said on Facebook. This is really getting blown out of proportion. I don't know of any effort we've made since that initial suggestion, of which you didn't even comment when we put it on the agenda. But since then, at every meeting you've come forward and really, I'm sorry, but really said some distorted and false statements, even this evening. So there is no particular plan right now to move forward because we're looking at all of the options. So you can continue to come to the meeting, but we're still evaluating what we can do that doesn't satisfy 60%, 50%, 80%. We'd like to satisfy 100% of the residents, veterans or not. To say that 99% of the people are opposed to it, that's just silly, and that's just not true. There's lots of folks that are supportive of it. To say that it's wise for us to move forward with something when we know that there's a group of people who don't like it, no, we can take our time. This isn't something that has to happen tomorrow. Although we prepared a fundraiser and we have some concepts for what we looked into, the fact is we haven't moved forward because we are trying to find a solution that's satisfactory to all. I can't name a school. I don't have that authority. But we are still looking at our options. I can assure you, and I'll make this public statement, that I will not take any action moving forward on this without making it public first. So you can continue to do what you want, say what you want, appear where you want, and whatever that might be. But at this point, I'm not spearheading any effort to move forward until we can find something that's agreeable to all. Any other board comments?
I have a comment.
Public comment is closed, sir.
The
So,
comment is,
I'm sorry, sir. Sir, Bernie, I'm sorry. Public comment is closed.
it's closed?
It's closed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board comments? Hearing none, I'd be looking for a motion to enter into closed session to discuss union negotiations.
So moved.
Support. Got a motion by Mr. Tamanalo, a support by Mr. Badkins. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Batkins?
Yes.
Mr. Brotto?
Yes.
Mr. Olgiati?
Yes.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Verkust?
Yes. We'll take a brief recess before we go into closed session. Enter into open session.
Make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Badkins with support by Mrs. Rose. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Backens?
Yes.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Olgiati?
Yes.
Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Witt, yes. Mr. Burkowski?
Yes. There isn't a need, there is no action really from closed session.
Make a
Okay.
motion to adjourn?
All right, is there support? Got a motion by Mr. Witt with support by Mr. Tominello. Discussion?
I have a discussion. I forgot during the approval of the agenda, that item, I don't know the item number, but it was the smart contract.
Yep, A4?
Yeah, there was all sorts of, somebody must have done a replace, whatever, and there was a bunch of question marks in there all throughout the contract.
That's just how they sent it to us, until we fill it in, that's the way it looks, I think.
Okay, well, yeah, because it's saying like the PAR question mark ES acknowledge and agree that this agreement, so it's supposed to be parties, and it's like, there's a bunch of them.
Could be an encoding error with Adobe.
Okay, I just want to make sure that when you do sign it, somebody kind of just skims over it and reads it.
Yeah, sometimes that happens when it gets
Okay.
converted from different versions.
From one to another, yep, yeah,
Okay.
legislature's appropriation, right, and this is a document they provide to us.
I imagine, but I'm like, do they know they sent it like this?
No,
Yeah.
we'll make sure we address that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries, meeting adjourned, thank you, board.
Rob, mystery solved.
Did you get it?